Rated PG-13.
Welcome to MenCaveTV. I'm Maurice.
And I'm Ray, and in this week's show...
If anyone deserves a beer in the land of the free, the home of the brave, it's the girl with 10 loads of cum in her face.
Cheers, Jim Jefrfries. Today we review Jim Jefrries' show FreeDUMB, now available on Netflix.
It's still beyond me why we still don't have a marketing deal with these Netflix cunts.
Yeah, I don't understand it either. Oi, Jim Jefrries, have a word with these cunts, alright?
Now, we went to see this show, the FreeDUMB show, back in January 2016, live at the Heineken Music Hall in Amsterdam.
And this show is hilarious.
Now, all of his shows are hilarious, but this one I really like because there is a whole section about his kid, breastfeeding, and autism. I mean, who doesn't laugh about kids, tits, and autism?
I laugh
at you. Oh, you fucking autist.
All right, here's a tip. You don't have to sterilize baby bottles because 80% of the time he's being breastfed. And we never sterilized those tits. We never had a special steamy cleaning machine for the tits.
Yeah, you can see Jim Jefrries is a really loving father. I mean, which dad would go through all the trouble of getting his kid vaccinated?
After he spoke to the doctor and she said,
Let me put it this way, Mr. Jeffries, I would not let my children play with an unvaccinated child. So I thought that's all the information I need. So, behind Kate's back, and this is super illegal, I booked Hank in to get all of his shots on one day, which the doctor didn't recommend, but I'm a busy guy.
And yeah, he is a very, very busy guy. He's performing all over the fucking globe. And in our show he explained that he goes on tour for 2 weeks and the other 2 weeks he stays at home to play the dad. But he wants to spend more time at home with his child because his child needs to go to a special school. Because his child now got autism from all the fucking vaccinations he gave him.
Oh, Kate's gonna notice this. And so, I did whatever I did when I knew I was in trouble. I lie.
Yeah, and after those vaccinations gave little Hank autism, he thinks of this brilliant plan to blame it on Kate, his girlfriend. And he hangs little Hank in a baby Bjorn and...
Right, I was going to stand near a door that I knew Kate was going to come through.
Oh my God.
Look what you did!
You now see why we like Jim so much. He's an inspiration. We learn from his lovely, lively stories, and he's far more smarter than us.
It's smarter than us.
That's what I said.
Never mind. Now we are serious for just a little bit.
Don't zap away!
Vaccinations don't give kids autism, so
Vaccinate your kids.
Except for Jim Jefrries, who most likely is vaccinated and turns out to have...
It's weird when you find out that you're autistic at 36, because big news for me. And then I rang up everyone I knew and told them, and no one was surprised. I rang up me mum, and I left a message on her voice machine like this. Mum, you gotta call me back. I have the biggest news ever. And my mum rang me back and went, you're getting married. And I went, no, I'm autistic. And she went, oh, everyone knows you're autistic.
We love the polio bits.
Yeah.
This running gag starts off as a subtle side story in which Jim explains his mother can work her way of having had polio into any conversation.
And when he finally uses the gag 15 minutes later on, you laugh so much louder.
Ooh, and the expensive school Hank goes to is actually for the gifted children.
And Hank went, turtle! And I said, yes, Hank, that's a turtle. And then Simon went, that's a tortoise. I didn't know that before.
He starts off with a great funny bit about the #1 funniest rapist in the US, Bill Cosby.
And he does have a great point. If you ever drugged and raped and you get to pick Bill
And then
Cosby.
you wake up and you're like, oh, what the fuck happened? Oh, and the first thing you would see is that hysterical face of his. And he'd have a couple of fingers in you. And he'd be going, and a zoom, with the fingering and the drugging and the raping and the fingering. Tell me your first reaction wouldn't be laughter.
So let the honorable judge know that these are mitigating circumstances for Mr. William Cosby. And of course, there's a bit about freedom, or FreeDUMB with a U, for stupid Americans who actually think they live in a free country. Of course, we Dutch live in a far more free country than you.
In Holland, you can smoke weed whilst fucking a hooker in front of a cop. How dare Holland not be called the land of the free?
Now, that is not true, Jim. I've done it and got a massive fucking fine.
Dude! It says here you were fined for indecent exposure, fucking a hooker while smoking a joint on a schoolyard. You fucking idiot!
So how free are we if you can't fuck a prostitute while smoking a joint on a busy schoolyard?
And this is exactly why this show is called FreeDUMB, people. And what is Jim Jefries without a nice, provoking line like
I hate Muslims.
Before he spoke those words in Amsterdam, he said, I will now make fun of Muslims. If there is a terrorist among you, please stand up now and shoot me.
This was only a month after the Paris shooting. This was received with a lot of applause and laughter.
Yeah, it really shows that us Dutch are a very morbid bunch of cunts.
But wait, there's more from Jim.
I hate Muslims, I hate Christians, I hate the Amish, I hate Buddhists, I hate the snake people, I hate Jews, I don't know who I've missed here. Sikhs, I hate all. Our fight in this world is not against Islam, it's against religion. Be very clear about this.
Yes, this is the Jim Jefries I fell in love with 5 years ago after having been introduced to him.
Yes, this is quintessential Jim Jefries kicking religious morons in the nuts. And don't get me wrong, the other bits were great too, but this is why you pay 60 euros or 7.5 euros if you use Netflix. It's cheaper than a Big Mac menu at McDonald's.
You're really plugging it.
It's really hard to do a review of a stand-up comedy show.
Yep.
You want to show some funny bits, but you don't want to spoil too much. I think we did a great job, and I think Jim Jeffries will be proud of us, just like Netflix! What's your conclusion, Ray?
Well, I have to say kudos to Netflix for having taken this from the stage into a TV recording. Usually you lose a lot of content and vibe in a TV show. Usually I don't like stand-up comedy in TV format because you don't have that same vibe, atmosphere that you have in a nice little theater. Or in our case, a giant beer keg holding 5,500 people. I laughed just as much with this TV adaptation as I did about 6 months ago with the live show. Which says a lot about Jim's material and Netflix! His ability to adapt a stage show for TV. So I will give this 4.5 pints of beer and a line of Coke.
Yeah. I love the original views and the blunt force trauma of the jokes. No sweet talking from Jim. No, here are the jokes. Raw, funny shit. And it's not for the easily offended.
Oh.
Jim, if I might address this personally to you, if you're ever in the vicinity near us, we'll buy you a beer. Come join us. Thank you. 4 beers and a big line of Coke.
Cheers!
Do you think Netflix got the message that we want a sponsorship deal from them?
Imagine that we could do funny reviews on all the great movies like
The Boy in the Striped Pajamas?
oh.
Steal a Pencil for Me?
Ooh.
Escape from a Nazi death camp?
Oh. I think we can say the Netflix sponsorship goodbye now, Maurice.
Well, we could always go to McDonald's.
Give us a call, McDonald's!